ruling. Tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Chris. Most people call me God, but no, I'm joking. No, my name is Chris Marshall, and I am an actor, writer, director, a lot of shit. I'm sorry, can't say shit, can I?
You can.
Okay, so great. A lot of shit. And I am playing the role of Marathon.
What's this character like?
Marathon is quite interesting. The more and more we delve into him, I love how he's not a character that, for a new play specifically, a lot of writers will have those characters that only have like one or two layers to them, and it's just like this and this, and you know this is that character because that moves the story forward. But the great thing about this character is there's so many things to him. There's conflict. There's the fact that he has a heart, that he loves, you know, his status and everything as a prince, but he also loves his people, and he doesn't really want to, I guess, lose or disappoint either. There's the fact that or that I'm trying to live up to everyone's expectations of me. That goes from my father, the other people in the play, people that I just met in the play. And then there's also the interesting part of that. It's almost like I'm still learning to become a man. So it's not just becoming a king, but it's also becoming a man. Because I'm still childish in a lot of ways, and I'm growing. And I think throughout this story, I'm learning to become more and more responsible, more of a man through the play.
What's your favorite line?
Glad you asked. My favorite line is a line that I say. I'm arguing with my father, and I say, "I want to share the load." And I just think that's so funny because in the cast, I'm sure Julianne and Joe can't hear it, but every time I say that line, and we're not doing it as a scene, we're like working on it, me and whoever's near me like does like a little ba-dum boom ch, like I want to share the load, ba-dum boom ch, like I don't know, it's like little behind the scenes humor.
What drew you to this play and to this part?
Well, what drew me to the play was a posting I saw for it on the on Facebook, on a Facebook group, and I was like, I know Julianne, so I hit her up, or you up, because you're, you know, hosting the interview, but I hit you up and you told me about the play, and I was like, that's interesting. So I came to the audition. I think the thing that really drew me about it was in the description when it said, like it's in verse. It's basically a modern day Shakespeare play in a sense. Well, not Shakespeare because it's not his story and it's not like his stories, but it's written in that same style of verse, but it's modern, which I was like, that's awesome. So, and what was the other one? It was like, what do you?
Oh, the character.
What drew me to the character? Honestly, this is gonna sound weird and crazy and stupid, but because I'm sure you're probably expecting some big like actory answer, like, oh, I felt. But honestly, what drew me to the character was I saw it. I was like, that name is cool. I want to play that name, the character, just because it's a cool name, like Marathon with 2 A's, well, 3 A's technically, but Marathon. Like I don't know, I just kept saying the name over and over again. I was like, I want to play that character. So, and fortunately, I got the character in the audition. So that was awesome.
Why is this play important now?
This play is important now. I think for a few reasons. One, I like the fact that it is kind of in that older Shakespearean verse style of writing, but it's modern. And it makes the verse quite easy to understand for people who probably don't understand verse very well because of how Shakespeare wrote, because he wrote in the English of his time, and this is kind of the English of our time. And I think it's also important because of the issues that it addresses, in that sometimes people are forced to do things because it's like, I think that probably is going to a later question, but sometimes people are forced to do things because they're expected to. Sometimes you can't help what family you're born into, and sometimes that means that you benefit where other people don't, and sometimes it means that you don't benefit where other people do, and how difficult it is to get out of situations like that, how detrimental it is to get out of situations like that. Plus the value of like being honest and being honest all the way around. A lot of times people lie when sometimes the easiest solution is just to be honest, to tell the truth. And I think that's relevant. And I also like the fact that it addresses social issues, like social justice issues. I mean, even though the play is like full of men and there's like there's three women, three-ish, five women, four women, yeah, four women. So it's not full of men, I guess it's about half and half. So it's like four women, but they all have, and even though they're not like royalty, they all have very integral roles to the play. And then also there is a gender non-binary character who brings in the fact that the theater and the world itself is just changing. And now there are more types of people to play with. You have more, not play with, but like to use within a script, to use within the world, to make it more realistic. How we have people who are questioning their sexuality. We have people who are sure of their sexuality. We have people who may not be questioning their sexuality, but then they get around this person who is sure about their sexuality, and that causes them to question their sexuality for just that person. And also how those things can also affect people's lives for the better or for the worse, depending on living in their truth, which I guess goes all the way back to the first point about truth and stuff like that. So yeah, probably getting a little too long-winded with this, but yeah, you know.
Is there anything else you want to say about the message of the piece?
The message of the piece is like dope. Like that's my like big like Shakespearean actor word. It's dope, dopeth. This piece is dopeth. That's like it, yeah. But nah, I love how it's about control, obligations, and freedom. I think those are like three very important, like if I were to boil it down into three words, it would be that: control, obligation, and freedom. There's always that fight for control. There's always, you lose control sometimes because you realize what your obligation is. You may not like it, but you have to do it. And then there's that freedom when you're like, fuck this obligation, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. And it's almost like it teaches, or it at least teaches or tries to teach people who will see it. I hope it teaches people because no one's seen it yet. That sometimes the best option is to just break free and follow whatever it is you want to follow. So yeah, I think that's me being all philosophical and shit. But yeah, great.